make sure it's tight and well wrapped around each connection at the time. And what we want to do, we're going to connect all of them together. Pretty sure some electrician is going to be not too happy about it, but true matter of fact is I've done it several times, never had any issues. I mean, it's all separately connected. It's all isolated with electrical tape. I mean, people do it with electrical outlets all the time. You know, we put electrical tape all around the outlet. So I would say, as long as you have it well wrapped together and connected, you know, it's okay. See, the reason I'm doing is this way. You can say, oh, it's a shortcut, you're cutting edges here, you should be doing it, you know, step by step. Sure, but I'm doing it to show you that you can do it yourself. You can do it at the cost of the price, you know, very, very easily. Go to Home Depot, get the cord, do it yourself. You don't need no connectors, you know, and it's still gonna work, no problem. No gonna burn, no gonna electrocute you. So, as long as you follow those instructions, we'll be all right. I'm open to criticism. You know, if anybody's got something to say, I have no problem with that. You know, I've done it several times. I mean, people fix stuff with electrical tape left and right. At the end of the day, you still have the electrical connectors connecting all those pieces together. So once I have all the individual connections wrapped together, I'm gonna wrap all that one more time, just to give it some strength and connect them together. They're all isolated, they're all, you know, separated, so there's no issue. We'll make a nice tight connection over here, wrap all this stuff together. You know, and you really don't have to get into it anymore until your cord goes out again. So here it is. It's all connected together, all wrapped together solid. So now the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna push this cord back in, you know, back into the unit. Okay, you wanna make sure it's away from the motor. And I'm gonna put back the plastic tab that holds the cord in place. So here is the thing. We just gained 2 extra feet of cord versus buying the original one. So you actually can hook up your unit farther out, even better. And you only spend like quarter of the price or half of the price on the cord. So you get your screws and you drive your torque screwdriver. It will be a little bit harder because this cord is a little bit thicker, but it will work. As I said, I have another unit that actually utilize thicker cord, and it's the same model, same size motor, just thicker cord. So you get your screws, put them in the opening right here, drive them into a proper place where they're supposed to be. Slowly, don't rush. That's the thing about the R2s. That plastic is pretty brittle. And sometimes if you're rushing, if you push it too hard, you will break it. And very often the problem is if those units are also that people just mistreat them so badly, they will drop them or shake them or, you know, stuff like that. And at the end of the day, what happens is those little openings right here, those little tabs, either for the bottom of the unit, which holds the screw right here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Or those right here that holds the screws in place, they break off. And when that happens, you kind of duct it, baby, because there's nothing for the bottom to hold on to unless you use like JB weld and kind of redo those openings. There's nothing you can do. It's either that or replace the whole thing all over again. Anyhow, we are pretty much done over here. The cord is in place. It's secured. And all I need to do right now is replace the screws. If we can find a number 4. just for the heck of this video, I'm gonna put it back together so you guys see and have an idea how to do it, and then I'm gonna actually disassemble and clean it thoroughly inside out because it's absolutely disgusting. The amount of brim and greases in there is just ugh. I mean, I've seen far worse. I've seen the Robo Coupes R2s that were run to the point that there's no return. There was so much stuff that just like, wow, really? Anyhow, you have this. It's like a space ring, which I probably forget to mention, that goes over the motor base. And that has to be secure in place as well. And the way you put it in, there's a slight cut-off opening right here. It goes over the wiring right here. And that's where it fits. As you can see, it's a perfect fit right here with the wires on. And then all you need to do is match your base to top and reposition and screw back together the safety switch, thermal switch, fuse, you name it. Anyhow, so pay attention how this thing goes. So the narrow part goes basically towards the front, and the wider part goes to the back. So put your motor spacer, whatever motor support base here, and then put the safety switch back in the opening right here. You can see the hole in the bottom of the unit right here. That's where this thermal fuse goes. And get your nut. And all you need to do is put the thermal switch in place. Put it sideways. You don't want it like to be hitting against the walls of the base. And then grab the nut from the bottom and slowly screw it in, just to get a grip on it. Make sure you get the threads right. You don't want to cross thread it, as usual with anything that has the threads on it. Even if it's grimy and greasy, you can tighten it up later on with the pliers. Okay, make sure all your wire and your spacers in place. Put the base back on the top of the unit. It will take a little maneuvering, make sure everything matches. Okay, got a little issues here. That's the problem with the R2. Sometimes it's kind of hard to put the base back on because you have to position it kind of perfectly. Just take your time, put it upside down. Make sure nothing is in the way. Something is in the way. Might be the cord actually itself. So I'm just gonna push it slightly out of the way. If you want to match the holes opening with the holes opening, it has to be aligned, otherwise it won't fit. Try to do it the other way around. Put it down. This one's giving me trouble. I never had an issue like this before. Huh? It's like bouncing out of something. Oops. you got this. Actual safety switch got disconnected. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Let's start over. Put the safety back in. Make sure you give yourself enough room over here to work. You don't want this thing to fall on the ground. That's like the last thing you want to happen. Once this thing falls, the base breaks and it just shatters to pieces and it becomes a worthless piece of junk basically. Okay. Whoa! Okay. I did not account for that. Okay. This is something you... Okay. That's crazy. It never happened to me before. Basically, what happened right now, the whole motor just came out of the assembly. It just came out. I don't know if you can see that. It just popped right out. So what happened was, this motor is held to the unit by the spacer. It's like a plastic assembly right here. So you can see the condition of the thing is completely messed up. It's all broken in pieces. And I guess we'll see the drop to the edge of the unit itself. As you can see, it's completely broken. And just basically fell out. The nuts that's supposed to hold it in place had nothing to hold on to. So the whole thing just came out. So now what I need to do, I need to replace the whole assembly, put the motor back together where it was. Which is okay. I mean, it's extra work and stuff on, but at least in this situation, I'm gonna be able to redo it properly and make sure stuff like this doesn't happen. If I sell it to somebody and they use it, you know, it'll be a terrible thing. So as you can see, this is all in pieces, all broken. This is what it's supposed to be. I'm actually having 2 other units that I'm going to be rebuilding, and that's the support for the motor, top support for the motor. Wow, I mean, it's just something you don't account for. I didn't know it was going to happen, but it did. So I'm going to be able to post a video for you guys later on, which basically is going to include the replacement of the upper part of the motor support. So yeah, you're going to be able to see how I'm going to actually remove it and so on. And I'm probably going to change that bearing because it looks pretty, I mean, it's still soundable from the look of it. Like, it's, when you spin it, there's no grind or anything like that. I just want to take a look at it. I want to make sure that it's in good condition. The removal of the bearing is a little more complicated than it is. It's easier to just replace the top piece of the base, but yeah, it is what it is. It's pretty grimy and dirty, so all that stuff gonna have to get degreased and cleaned up from top to the bottom. Wow, I just didn't know it was gonna happen. Normally when you remove the motor, you don't account for that. You usually go from the top of the unit. That's where your nuts are. If you can see those 3 dots right here, that's where the bolts are for the motor. And that's your seat right here, which is already grounded, has to be replaced. It's completely messed up. Anyhow, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna replace that motor support. I'm gonna take it off right now. I'm gonna show you guys. It's pretty simple. It's just held by 4 large nuts, flat Phillips screwdriver nuts. I'll take it off. Always use WD-40. Those things are really grimy and have a lot of garbage in there. So all you need to do is use your flat Phillips screwdriver, remove those bolts, nuts. Sorry, bolts. Correct myself right here. As you can see, this whole thing just fell apart. It's just in pieces. I think it's one of those things that Robo Coupe went wrong with. This is like. I have a couple other units lying around I'm going to be replacing that part from. because they basically disintegrated. Within a few years of usage, there's nothing left. And it's kind of stupid that you build a machine and you charge somebody $1,000 and you use crappy ass plastic that just basically disintegrates and falls apart. You use quality motor and all the safety features on it, and then you got this. I mean, come on, you know, it's just like, sure, that piece only costs like $15 or $16, something like that. It's not really expensive. But the whole process and ordeal of replacing is a pain in the butt. You have to take the whole machine apart. So, hands down to your coupe. I mean, this is, you have made amazing machines, but this is really just stupid. And I've seen this in several other units. Unfortunately, that's how industries, that's what the industry is going these days on every piece of equipment, from cars to commercial equipment, making garbage, making trash. They're gonna tell you that's better for you because we put a lot of safety feature and make your life more comfortable. You can turn this dial and you can cook at this speed and stuff like that. But they forgot to tell you that all those components are digital. And all those components, unfortunately, in a food setting, kitchen setting, grease, heat, and moisture don't mix with electricity. So you want to avoid having any type of electronic components in the units. That's always tell people, if you buy something for your kitchen, make sure it has as little digital components as possible, because you're gonna be calling a tech, and it's not only that it's very hard to work on those units and replace those components cost arm and leg. It's not something you can buy for $20 at Home Depot. No, it's like a circuit board, you know, for a convection oven. It's gonna be $600, because that's where the industry is going. They learned that we don't make money on equipment anymore. We're gonna make money on parts. So we're gonna build something that's terrible in design, breaks all the time. So we're gonna give job to techs, and we're gonna give job to ourselves by selling parts. And that's the sad part about it. Anyhow, I don't want to drag this video longer than needed. It's already like 50 minutes. It's supposed to be a simple, straightforward replacement of the cord. Unfortunately, as you guys can see, unpredictable happened. I'm gonna have to deal with this later, but it's a good thing because I'm gonna show you how to replace the support for the motor as well, and how to replace the seal on the top of the unit as well, because that's already fried. I don't have time right now, but I will definitely get back to that video. So basically what you've seen, that's pretty much it. All you need to do is put the base back together, seal it in, put the 4 screws back in, and your cord is replaced. So that's one of the issues that's troubling that units, and that's what you usually see going wrong with them, because really they're very simple in design. They have nothing really to go wrong with. As I say, 3 things: bearing, safety switch, and cord. Those are 3 things I ran into it. So here is your safety switch. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. Right on the bottom of the unit. It's held by 2 screws. In this situation, as you can see, I mentioned it before, this one actually takes a smaller size torque. So I will have to use this size torque in order to remove that switch if I wanted to change it. Those switches are usually around within like $30. They're pretty affordable. That support for the motor is like $15, $17. Cord, as I say, it's only like $15 at Home Depot. So they're not that scary, they're not that complicated. If you have some handyman in you, you can easily access it and get it done. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty straightforward right here on replacing the cord in this unit. Not fully completed. I will get back to it once I replace this motor support. And maybe the bearing itself, I mean, the condition of this thing, I mean, this will happen. Always replace your seal. The seal on the top of the motor, it really only costs $25. And all you really need is a sharp object. I would say something really pointy like an ice pick that you jam right here in between the frame and the base. In this situation, actually I'm gonna use the torque screwdriver. I don't have the shaft in there, so it's much easier. And this seal just pops right out. And look at that, flavor agent. So this thing is 25 bucks. It protects your motor and your bearing from going out. Every couple of years, I tell people, go online, order it. You know, it's only $25. Use a sharp, pointy object like an ice pick to get between the base right here and the seal. And then all you need to do, clean this up, and the seal, the new seal, here I'll show you guys. Comes with all the instructions how to install it and a little container of silicone grease right here. So once you clean this gunk out, you basically can put some silicone grease right underneath there, squirt as much as possible in there, especially closer to the bearing, and clean this whole area up really well, remove all the dirt, remove all the garbage, use a little degreaser and something, you know, a towel or something just to get all this gunk out of there, because that's grease and dirt. That's gonna get into the bearing and just eat it out and destroy the whole motor. I mean, not gonna destroy the motor because the motor is gonna shut off because of the safety feature, but it will grind up the bearing. And all what you have to do after that, you have to rebuild the motor, which is basically removing the motor out of the assembly, cleaning all this shit out, getting the bearing out with the puller, and installing the bearing. So you're far better off doing this, removing the old seal out, putting some silicone grease in there, popping the new seal in. All you need to do is just press on it, use like maybe a rubber mallet. Of that sort, just to pop it around the edges. If you have problems, you can use a PVC pipe 3/4 inch just to get it in the center and pop it right in there. It will pop right in once you have the grease spread out specifically. And that's really what it is. I mean, they recommend getting into the motor and putting this grease in there. It's too much work. Your typical person won't be able to do that, you know? So as I say, this thing comes with the instruction, grease, and the seal itself. And let's see, I never really read the instruction manual. I always replace it when I was rebuilding the motor. I kind of want to take a look at it. As you can see over here, they tell you to put the grease in the center and put the grease right inside this opening, but which you don't really have access if you just remove the seal. It's impossible. So basically they tell you to do it when you rebuild the motor or replace the bearing, which is a crazy thing to do for your simple-minded person. If you don't have the skills, you don't want to deal with it. That's a tech job. But what I recommend, all you need to do is use a sharp object, pry the old seal out, put as much as silicone possible into the opening, into the hole, and underneath the actual seal, and pop it right in. Use a piece of PVC pipe, maybe like 5-6 inches long, 3/4 inch in diameter. Put it on the top of the seal, hit it with a rubber mallet, and pop it back in, and that's it. And that will save your motor, and will save your bearing, and crap a lot of money. You know, 25 bucks every couple of years, depending how often you use this thing. If you see that the seal is starting to stretch, and like oil starts sipping through, and it's getting like wobbly, like you can see the opening between the shaft and the actual seal, do it right away, replace it. And you know, then you don't have to call a person like me to come over and rebuild your motor, which costs lots of money. I mean, really the bearing, it only costs like $6-7, but the job that needs to be done, you have to remove the whole motor, you have to disassemble the motor, you have to clean the whole thing inside out, and then you have to pull the bearing out with the puller and pray the new bearing in with the press. So that's 2 hours easily on any motor, regardless it's a robo coupe or any type of machinery. So to save yourself some money, you can do that. And the part number for this part, for that unit is 501010S. And you can get this on eBay, you can pay on Amazon, anywhere really, and it's only $25. So no brainer. Anyhow, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, send me a message, email me, subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting a lot more videos about the RoboCoupes. I got like probably 4 or 5 of them right now sitting down there that I'm gonna be working on and replacing the various pieces in there. 2 of them need new bearings, new motor support, new seals, new feet, and so on. Even new base that I got like from a scrap that I'm gonna be replacing. So I'm gonna show you guys how it's all done, get you some ideas. But as I say, for the most part, those units are pretty straightforward to replace the cord switch. It's pretty straightforward and easy. Bearing is a little more complicated. It requires a little more work and attention, but it's not a rocket science. It's just time. If you have some basic tools lying around, and you can get a bearing puller from AutoZone or O'Reilly's free of charge. That's why I get mine. I don't even buy myself a job puller because I rarely get this kind of job on hand to begin with. I do it maybe 4 or 5 times a year. O'Reilly's is literally a block away from my house. I just go there, get myself a puller for 48 hours free of charge, pull my bearing out, and install a new one. So it's, yeah. I mean, to each his own. You can always buy one if you want to, but I don't. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching. My name is Andy. Andy's Commercials, Appliance Repair. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little of a video, but we'll give you some idea. There's nobody out there really doing anything with R2s, and I was hoping that give you some guys ideas on how those units operate and how to address the issues and how to work on them. And have a great day. Thank you.